Today I'm going to talk about the young athlete and what it might feel like when you're over pursuing your athletic activities. Some of the things that we learn about in mindful living is to balance things out. And sometimes there's an extreme for some of us to want to go in a direction that is super extreme, and some of that can be revolving around athletics. So if you are someone that is a teenager and you're in sports and you're really forcing yourself or pushing yourself to excel, some of the things you want to take into consideration is what you're eating, how you're sleeping, how you're spending your time away from your athletics, and who you're surrounded with. And some of the other things, the factors that come along with that, because sometimes we get so connected to being an athlete that we think that we have to do all these performance enhancing supplements and go to the GNC and start buying those huge containers of like protein supplements and all these different things. Well, those can actually cause a little damage if you're engaging in that way too much. So I just was reading a local hospital that put out on something, a hard pass on supplements. And I was reading through it and I thought about, they're stopping they want you to really be aware of, what you're consuming and what you're taking in. And just to understand that, some of these things that we feel are the you got to do something before you work out and the post-workout. Well, sometimes you just have to figure out how to balance that and make sure that you're actually eating food. Because if you're only relying on these supplements, it can cause some damage to not only your digestive system, but also to your cardiovascular system. Because if you're doing large drinks and all these excess electrolytes and all these excess proteins, it can cause some mental health issues. And then you might fall down into the depression. Maybe your body starts getting worked up, and then it goes into fatigue. So you have to really look at the whole picture when it comes to being that athlete and putting that tag on yourself and knowing, what is underperformance, overperformance, and how can you balance things out. Now, if you're a parent and you have a child that wants to do like 4 activities, that's when you both have to figure out what can my child tolerate in addition to going to school and learning. Because when you think about the brain, you want to think about focus power. You want to think about how much time that brain has to really reboot at night. And the body has to be able to rebuild all of its immune system properties to be able to go to the next day. And if you don't support it in the ways that it's needed nutritionally and with mindful eating, then you may have someone who overextends themselves and then starts seeing some complications where you'll see that bright student who was an all-A student and was in sports and did everything, and then those who strive to do the same thing, and then you see them develop some health issues related to that. So super think about what's going on in your life and all the stress that's related around those sports, those activities, what you really can manage, and if you have other siblings and children, and how often can you be doing these things. Now, it's different in a smaller family relationship than with a large family, because you might have multiple kids going in different directions like we did. And then the weekends become, there's no self-care, there's just all this running. So you want to be able to manage that time, know what is the best for you and your family and for your child. Diane Greco-Allen, food relationship coach, Just keep in mind, teen health and mental health all revolves around connection, socializing, and our connections with food. Have a great day. Reach out if you're interested in learning more about what can happen if you overextend your body and how you might deal with something called pancreatitis. Diane Greco-Allen, food relationship coach, functional medicine certified health coach, and functional nutrition counselor.